Hello and welcome to Tales from the Shed. What are we doing today?
I know, it's interesting. We were actually, you may remember, a few months ago, we were having a conversation about cold water swimming.
Wild swimming.
Wild swimming, or whatever.
It's going in the sea.
It's going in the sea. But, and how we talked about how you had, well, you'd just been the person that held the towels. Not even that, really. You were in the cafe having a coffee. Whoever it was was on the beach.
Exactly.
And I was like saying how I really liked it. And then you'd discovered cold water swimming.
Well, I discovered beach in the summer.
Yes,
with you
did. Yes,
which amazed me, and it really didn't amaze other people quite as much. They were going, "Yeah, you're going to see," but for me, it was
it was a big thing,
a massive thing. And then
you may not have felt it, but the whole universe tilted.
It definitely did. And then you persuaded me to go colder water swimming. I say colder because the sea is still about 14 degrees.
I know, which is nice. Sometimes warmer than the air.
But the air is very cold. Yeah. So there's this amazing course that's been run by somebody called Chill UK, or a group called Chill UK, who have been doing lots of research into the amazing benefits of cold water swimming at affecting people's mood, people's emotions. And I joined this group. So we went as a little group because we're so fortunate. We live near big, very beautiful beaches, and the beach is so beautiful. It's the beach that's near the Agatha Christie Hotel,
Burr Island
Hotel, and it's really beautiful. So it's inspirational even on a rainy, cold day. So I thought I'd go to an inspirational place and try it.
And it's because I saw the course and I thought, because last time I was talking about how last year I kept swimming till the 1st of November and then decided it was just, I didn't really like it. So my goal was to get to 2nd of November. I think that's where we left it, watch this space, see what happens. However, last week I went in on the 3rd of November and the 4th of November and again this week. So what it kind of feels like, I've broken my record. I broke my record and then some. And that feels quite momentous for me. And then I'm doing it because I'm doing the chill course on a different day. And then I said to Anne, what about this? And amazingly, she signed up.
And I signed up to do it because I so loved that experience of being in that cold in the sea. It feels like you're just coming together with nature. It's a very strange experience. And all I get from people is, "Oh, you're brave. I could never do it. I don't like the cold." And it's kind of nothing to do with that. It's a real, I'm going to say immersion experience, but what a silly thing to say. It feels a holistic, beautiful commune with yourself somehow. It's nothing to do with being brave, and we don't swim off into the island like you see some people going off the distance and back again. It's just you feel very much part of the universe of greater stuff. It's very spiritual,
and that's the part of the philosophy of it, I think, it talks about, because I think it was, I can't remember the name of the guy who kind of talked about it. He was a GP, or he is a GP that kind of actually thought it all up and looked at it and was looking at the research and the benefits of this. And he talks about being kind of present in the moment, in the environment that you are. So I think that's actually quite it's a good mantra, really, for whether you're in the sea or not. And I do quite like that feeling of like, so this morning we went down and it was a bit grey, a bit windy, and there's a group of us, there's 8 of us that go with the guy who facilitates it and a lifeguard they have to kind of watch out so don't get swept out to sea. And I quite like that thing of everybody who's walking on the beach looks like they're in the Arctic regions. They've got these padded jackets on. They've got all of this kind of stuff. They're doing that British thing that you do on the beach in the winter. Like, we know it's cold and horrible, but we are going on the beach because we're on holiday, and that's what we're doing. And they're obviously kind of saying, who is this strange group of people wearing these big padded coats and putting our hats on, doing that kind of stuff. And then we go in the water, and you can see them kind of thinking, what is happening? And then we go in, and we don't just go in and run out. I mean, we were in there for like nearly 20 minutes this morning, which is amazing. And you have to, he was like, the guy who facilitated said, you have to watch it. He said, because you can get in. We realized that we have the fear of going into the water, which is, oh, is it going to be cold? Is it this going to be? And then you're in the water and it feels quite nice. And then you're kind of thinking, oh, but when I get out, it's going to be really windy and cold, and I'm going to have to get changed. So then it changes to a bit of a fear of going out of the water. But because there's that connection with where we are, and then there's a connection with the other people, so it kind of feels like there's two things going on there.
And it does feel, it's nothing to do, it's everything to do with and nothing to do with the cold water. And I say it to people, they go, oh, I'd love to do it, but I don't really like the cold, or I love to do it, but my husband, doesn't like to do it. But it's, you could not get a bigger cold water wimp than me. And in fact, I used to have my house, until the energy crisis, I used to have my house at 28 degrees. My daughter has her house at 30 degrees. And I'm like, and she's going, I might put a cardigan on. So we both have this. I can remember being like that. And so we both have this. So it's not to do with loving the cold and loving your house. It's only that connection with yourself and with the water. And I go with somebody who really struggles a little bit with their mental health and so on. And I saw her last week. They were quite big waves. They were about, we were standing up to our waist, and then the waves were breaking over our head. And she was diving under the waves and diving through it. And you could see she suddenly looked 4 or 5 years old again. It's suddenly that connection with our youth, with nature, with the sea, with it's almost primeval, that sort of connection.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying like last week, it was quite choppy, and it's like you're doing that thing you do as kids. You didn't really want to swim, you just wanted to go in and jump around. In the, and we're all doing this, and we're all adults, and we're going,
and we were all doing it, and some people were like me, really a bit scared and a bit nervous, and didn't know how they're going to be in the cold. And other people were a bit more seasoned and did it a little bit more. And every one of us, within about 2 to 3 minutes, was in the same space. And I think it's really got something about mental health, about being happy, about connecting to yourself, that you come out and feel good. And I know there's the physiology of being cold and then stimulating and things like that. And there's definitely that. But there's something else that every one of us couldn't find the words for, and I can't find the words for it today. That it's just, it feels like you're complete in that moment. It's the only way to describe it. And it's not about bravery. And it's not about swimming, and it's not about any of that. And what it kind of feels like to me, it is something to do with, and it is, I mean, I will go swimming on my own, I did that last week and things like that, but it is a different experience going with a group of people. And when they talk about being present in that moment and really appreciating the environment and the place that you are, and just looking around and seeing how amazing it is to be in that place. I mean, and they talk about, if you want to kind of keep acclimatized, and we've had this whole thing about the cold shower business, but do you know what, it's not very interesting standing in a cold shower in your bathroom for 1 or 2 minutes. It's a bit boring. When you're swimming, it's great,
and we've had that weird thing that you don't mind having a cold shower, but you've been a bit iffy about the swimming, and I'm just like, I love going in the sea, but cold shower,
but if I hadn't done the cold shower, I think I wouldn't have been able to be acclimatizing in the sea. So I really recommend the cold shower, because it just gets your body ready. And the other thing I think is interesting is changes that knock you, changes you could walk away from. So in a cold shower, you can turn it off. In the sea, you can get out. But when you're knocked by, I don't know, losing a job interview that you really wanted, or something that goes on, that everybody has these things in life, it almost prepares you that the body can go, this is change, and it's feeling odd, give me a minute and I'll be there. And the health studies, the mental health studies, have shown that they have been amazing on that part as well.
So I would say
I'm a convert. You're a convertee.
That's right. And I think that the other thing is that we when you start doing something like this, people always assume that, oh right, because my course goes on till the 1st of December and yours goes on to the 16th, and people are already talking about, shall we keep doing it into the winter? And I'm kind of going, well, I might or I might not, because I think the other thing to be aware of is to think about, am I enjoying this? Am I getting from this? Or is the fact that when I come out, it's much, much colder outside and it really is uncomfortable when I'm changing and I'm so cold and all the rest of it, that it takes away from the benefit of being in the sea. And the January to March is the coldest time of the sea.
That's the coldest time of the sea. And don't you think people have this issue with labelling? You swim in the winter, so therefore, don't you? You know, rather than I swim if it feels good. And I think that is like just keeping that note. Just keep that note. It's not something I do because I have to, or because I can tell all my friends about how amazing I am that I'm swimming through the winter. It's doing it because I get something out of it. So we have to watch when you get into those things. I'm going to go for it as long as I feel the benefit. And then next year, what I'm looking at is, because I started something like the middle of April this year, to be quite honest, as long as I bring it back a week or two, because I'm like looking at it as a way of, maybe at some point I will want to swim all the way through the year, but this is a more of a kind of, let's see how long I like it for. Well, it's that labelling. I swim all year, it doesn't matter. Or you, and then other people label you, or you stop swimming and they go, so you don't then. I know. And it's kind of just being in that moment of what feels is right for you, isn't it? So there we go. I would recommend you try it. And I would try the cold shower if you haven't got easy access. But it does give you, it gave me the confidence that I might be able to do it. You didn't need that. And if you don't need it, you don't need it. So I don't think it's a desperate prerequisite. But I think if you're a complete wuss, it builds your body up to do it. And use those kind of things in terms of, if you want to try something new, try it and do it for as long as you want to, and that you kind of feel like you've got a benefit from it. And then, you know, see how you are. So we'll check in again with you in December. Who knows what will have happened by then? And leave a comment if you start wanting to do it. Yeah, absolutely.